I'm actually going to transfer it, just this sort of whole thing. Okay, so the screen, the way it's set up, the home button brings you to the main screen, which shows you this right here, right? Now, let's say you want to transfer the ATS. What you do is you come here, you hit test, and then this screen comes up. Over here, you have a key that has a number 0 on it, and everything here is grayed out. Hit any of the buttons, ask for a password. Your password is number 2, 5 times, and then you hit enter. Okay. Now see everything on the bottom here is dark. This first one, if I hit that, it will transfer from source 1 to source 2. This one, I just want to start the gens. This one is to end the load test once you're done with it. So let's say I want to transfer it, and I hit this button right here. Boom, it says test in progress. The generator started, and I got source 2 right here. Now I'm waiting on phase lock. I phase locked, and I went to source 2. So these 2 lights right here tells you what sources are available. Source 1's available, source 2 is available. The bottom tells you which position your ATS is in. It's in source 2 right now. Well, it was in source 1, would have been over here. Okay, so we transfer to source 2. You actually transfer the building load now to source 2, to Mercy Power. I want to end it, I hit end. Once I hit end, you see this TD active? That means there's a timer you're waiting for. To see where the timer is, hit home button again, hit status, and just scroll down, waiting to connect to source 1, right? Scroll down, and oh, time delayed to preferred source. Now, if you look over here, once I go with the yellow over it, let's say bypass. So I can bypass the timer and go to source 1 faster. Go ahead and do it. Waiting for phase lock. Info phaser will bring to this screen right here. This phase angle, once it's below 15 degrees, it'll transfer. That's what the system is waiting for, to be within 15 degrees. See how it's sweeping through? You have phase rotation, you have voltages. That's phase angle between source 1 and source 2. So once it's below 15 degrees, it'll transfer. Alright, so the gens just shut off, you lost the gen side. So that's as simple as that when it comes to transfer from one source to another. Closed transition, open transition. Closed transition means what? I have both sources on the bus before I release one, and that's used for the purpose of not dropping the load. Of course, you need both sources for this to work. You have an interlock button here. The purpose of the interlock button is the bypass switch right here. If something happens to the bottom half and it's not going to the source you want it to be in, you can bypass to the source on top. The problem is you can only bypass to the source the bottom is in. So this is in the source in source 1. I could bypass to source 1, hitting the button on source 1. Okay? Now the bottom can transfer all the loads going to the bypass switch. Okay? That's what that means. This is only used for maintenance purposes, and if something's wrong. It's not used to transfer the system. The bottom half is used for transferring the system. If I want to go to source 2, I can't. It won't let me. Because the bottom is in source 1. If I ever have to go to source 2 and the bottom is stuck in source 1, go to source 2, and then go to source 1, rack her out. This racks out the whole mechanism. And now, I go anywhere I want. I go down to source 2 if I want. Okay? You have to be locked into a source on top to be able to rack it back in. Okay? Alright. Boom, boom. That's it. When it comes to a little bit more about the screen. Let's say you have to change your timers. You don't like the timers that are set. Set points, operation, timers. Delay for gen start is set for 1 second. Let's say you want to set that to 3 seconds, which you shouldn't on this one. But enter. If you're logged in, you can just adjust it then. Whatever you want. Let's say 3 seconds. Right now we're at 3 seconds. I'll go back to 1 second. Boom. It's as simple as that. And then you scroll through. Let's say you want to transfer to preferred source. Preferred source is source 1. So once it's on source 2, how long does it take to go back to source 1? And change it like that. I want to go to the 10-minute one. And change it like that. Okay. info phaser. So that's a good feature to have, to look at the voltages and the phase angle and the phase rotation. If you're logged in, you want to log out, just hold escape, and then number 2 will go to 0. You don't have to worry about that. After about 7, 8 minutes, he'll pick it out by himself.
So if I have a guy here in the cup at night working, and there's a loss of power, and everything shifts, but then he's getting calls that something didn't shift.
Right.
He comes over, he notices that the breaker on the emergency gear is closed, but the breaker on the normal gear is closed, but we don't have incoming power. The generators are running, but the transfer switch didn't transfer.
So you'll see this lit and this lit. Oh, you won't see that lit. You'll see that lit because you lost source 1, let's say. But it's still on source 2. That's what you're saying, it's still on source 2?
Okay, so if there's no power, will that light still be lit for it's still on source 2?
As long as I have one source, it'll still be lit. So, sorry, that tells you if you have source 1 available. That tells you if you have source 2 available.
Right.
If you don't have source 1, that light will go out. But the bottom will still be lit.
Right, because it's on source 1,
Correct.
but there is no source 1.
Correct.
Right? So if that's the case, so now let's go back and rephrase it. The source 1 button green light is out. This source 2 red light is on, and this light is off like it is now, and this light is on.
Yes.
So the guy realizes that. What can he do as the cup guy to transfer that, to make that happen?
So if that happened, more likely the controller might think is a problem with source 2.
But all the other transfer switches have transferred.
If all the other ones transfer, then more likely there's an actual problem with the mechanism, or there's a problem with the controller. The controller will say alarm at that point. Will tell you there's an alarm. But the way around that, what you would do is you hit the button and go to the dead source. Go to source 1. You actually go to that source. Hit the button and go to source 1. Now rack it out. Now hit the button again. You go up again and go to source 2. And now you go to source 2. When I go to source 2, you're going to close the generator. And now the generator will parallel and close.
Okay.
So you'll see now it'll light up right there. It's power from source 2. And that right now, no matter what the bottom is doing, you're energizing the load from source 2 through the bypass switch.
Okay.
And let's say the PLC takes a poo-poo, it's out. This is gonna hard start the generators no matter what. There's an off the rotary switch of this. It'll hard start the generators and ignore anything the PLC is doing.
Okay.
And they'll be through here at that point.
All right.
But you have to rack it out to disengage the bottom.
So let's go back.
Now you go back.
Go back to it.
So at that point, hit the button, and you go up. Now we rack it in. We can't rack it in, right? Why not? You gotta be on a source. Well, the bottom's in source 1, right? Now. Boom.
Okay. We're back.
But now we're still bypassed. What happens if I leave it like this? If I leave it like this, you're bypassing up to source 1 because you gotta go to source 1. If I leave it like this, you lose power. The ATS will transfer, but the load will still come from source 1, so the output will still be off.
Yeah.
So you have to take it out. So you're gonna have source 1, so we're parallel to the bottom. Back to the top.
So now that's the normal position that it should always be in.
This is automatic position.
Okay.
Where the PLC does its job to the bottom.
Okay. Very good.
All right.
Thank you.
Yeah.